और जो पैनल है आज का वो मुझे लग रहा है कहीं ना कहीं इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स का जो वेट है वो हैवी है. ऑल्दो दिस टॉपिक इज नॉट डेडिकेटेड टू द इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस बट इट इज डेडिकेटेड टू द टैक्सेशन लॉ बिकॉज आई एम डूइंग GST एंड Gulati sir also appears in indirect taxes and he has quoted many authorities references for the indirect taxes also. अब जो जुडिशियल जो प्रेसिडेंट्स हैं उसमें इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट क्या है कि जजमेंट्स कैन नॉट बी रीड लाइक ए स्टैचू. जैसे हम स्टैचू पढ़ते हैं तो जजमेंट्स की जो एप्लीकेबिलिटी है इट इज नॉट लाइक स्टैचू कि यू आर रीडिंग वर्ड बाय वर्ड. यू हैव टू रीड द होल जजमेंट एंड देन फाइंड आउट द रेशियो. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. व्हाट इज एप्लीकेबल इज द रेशियो. There may be so many other parts of the judgment. There may be discussion on the facts of the case. There may be obiters. There may be passing references. There may be final, judgment on the particular case. But that is not important. The important is the ratio, and you need to find out. And it is very, common to find out the ratio in each and every judgment. Sometimes we need to read it again and again to find out what the ratio exactly is, and we may not be able to find out the ratio. But judgment has been delivered. So those judgments we need to carefully go through, and actually what has been decided is to be followed. And decision is based on certain facts, is based on certain circumstances, and finally the judgment has been passed. And it is not necessary that what is logically following from this. There may be some logic, there may not be some logic, but that needs to be applied for. If we go to the general principles, what has been discussed so far regarding the law of precedence, the judgments of the superior courts are binding on the lower courts. ये एक हायरार्की है कि जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर में जो टॉप ऑफ द बोर्ड पे हैं उनका जो डिसीजन है वो नीचे हमें डाउन द लाइन फॉलो करना होता है. तो सुपीरियर कोर्ट, अब सुपीरियर कोर्ट स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. आर्टिकल 141. आर्टिकल 141 is like the law declared by the Supreme Court. It is not law made by the Supreme Court, or it is not something that law has been written by the Supreme Court. It is a law declared by the Supreme Court. And Article 141 talks about the applicability on the courts all over the country, all over the territory of India. But it becomes law of the land, and many judgments are there which has been quoted also. The judgment of the Supreme Courts are taken as the law of land. Then the Supreme Court is not binded by its own judgment. That is, way back in Bengal immunity case, in English court also, it was not considered as binding. But later on some judgments came regarding the composition of the bench. But if you see, this is being followed. The boss is not binded with his previous judgments. Many judgments has been overruled by the Supreme Court, by the coordinate benches also, and we need to see the latest one which is available, and we need to follow according to, and to find out what the judgment will be applicable on the particular case. It is a technical and very, exercise which we need to do, that what is the composition of the bench, what was the reference, whether it is a special bench, whether it is a constitution bench, whether it is a DB, or whether it is a single member bench, then accordingly we can find out that what judgment will be applicable. And certainly what the judicial discipline is, the judgment of the one high court is not binding on the other high court. A case has been referred that when there is only one judgment of a high court, and that is maybe in favor or may not be in favor of the SSE, because we are discussing the taxation law, that may be binding on the lower authorities across the country, but it is not binding on the coordinate jurisdiction. It is not binding on the other high court. There may be 5 judgments in favor of the SSE of the high court. The 6th high court can go and say, no, we are not following these 5 judgments and this is not binding on us. So on high courts, It has been said long back also. And original jurisdiction, if you talk about Viliamma Champanka Pillai case, this was also held. We have the original jurisdiction, we have the precedential jurisdiction also. And the high courts or other subordinate court do not have the power to rule the decision of the Supreme Court. Now, when there is no power with the high courts to dissent with the judgments of the Supreme Court, but per inquirium, when the decision has been made based on ignoring the provisions of a particular law. If particular law has not been considered, there is a law of land, and that law has not been discussed in that particular judgment, then the high courts may not be binding on the judgment of the Supreme Court, saying that it is per inquirium and the particular law has not been discussed. Even the matter, if the particular issue ground has not been discussed, then also these types of decision can be taken. Now come to the composition of the benches. Now the benches with the 3-member bench, the judgment will be binding on the 2-member. And in tribunal it happens, there is a special bench constituted, it have the superiority over the judgment of the 2-member bench or single-member bench. So tribunals we need to see are under the jurisdiction, like one instance has been given. If the tribunal is sitting in Delhi and the original adjudicating authority or the assessing authority is lying in any other state, whether the tribunal will be having the binding force of the judgment of the Delhi High Court or the High Court of that jurisdiction where the assessing officer falls. So tribunal are binding, and tribunals have to follow the High Court judgment of their own jurisdiction. The High Court has a jurisdictional aura, and those judgments of High Courts are binding on the tribunals also, and even to the lower authorities also, appellate authorities also, and assessing officers also. But we need to see that how we can make it applicable at the ground level. That I think in question answer we will be discussing more about that. One case recently, it is there in case of Article 370, it is not taxation law, but Shah Faisal case. There were observations by the Honorable Supreme Court, and it is well settled, it is said, it is now a settled principle of law that the decision rendered by a coordinate bench is binding on the subsequent benches of equal or lesser strength. If there is a DB who is adjudicating a matter and another precedent is available by the DB, then it is binding on the double bench. It has only one remedy, to refer the matter to the higher bench. So it has been held, and even there should be well advised to refer the matter to a larger bench, as it was taking different view than what has been stated in a particular matter. Now, per inquirium has been discussed that the cases where these binding precedents may not be applicable, exceptions to the general rule. Boss is right, but something which is illegal I will not follow. Boss ने कहा कि ये amount है, ये आप ऑफिसर को देके आओ. It's a bribery. आप bribe देके आओ. Boss is right. Boss ने आपको कहा कि bribe देनी है, but you may not follow the direction of the boss because it is illegal. It is illegal under the law. There are certain exceptions to the applicability of the precedents. When the decision is erroneous, the decision may be erroneous. We find it, the decision sometimes are erroneous. Why? It has ignored certain facts, certain law which is there. And if there is an inconsistency between the higher courts, then also, if there is inconsistency between the judgments, it is not become the binding precedent. It may not be binding. And if there is equally divided court, then it has to be referred to the higher bench only. So till the decision of the higher bench or the third judge is there, that particular judgment which is of equally divided is not a binding precedent. Even if it is a high court judgment where 2-member bench is sitting, it is equally divided. Till the time it is decided by the third judge, it may not become a binding precedent. And there is no conflict between the judgments. Then, if there is no conflict, then you have to follow the judgment which is equally applicable on the facts of the case. And if you see, friends, the Article 141, it is of great importance. It says the law declared by the Supreme Court shall be binding on all courts within the territory of India. It has used the word courts. But can this be applicable to the authorities other than court, quasi-judicial authorities, officer, administratively? Even in many cases, the Supreme Court has told, even in, COVID case also passed suo moto 141, 142 of the article of the Constitution of India. It becomes the law of the land. The Supreme Court has held that this should be treated as the order of the court under Article 141, and it is binding precedent. It is binding for all the authorities, and it will become binding even if there may not be a judgment. But Supreme Court has said that this order is a binding nature. It is a wide impact. When we see the judicial hierarchy in light of the Article 141, we need to see another important article, which is 145. And in 145, sub-article 5, in Constitution, it has been held that even the dissenting opinion of a judge, suppose there is a 5-member bench, 4 members are of a view, but the 5th member is of a different view. The view of the 5th member, which is, may not be in majority, is also important, and it may become binding in many cases. Suppose there is a judgment, there is a one issue which has been, discussed, in this 5th judge, and it has not been discussed by the majority in 4 judges. Now it becomes the law of the land, and on the particular issue which has been discussed by the dissenting judge, it becomes the applicable precedent accordingly. So this judicial hierarchy, we need to maintain. It is sometimes very difficult. Only, we will take the question answer, because the session has been designed in a way that it is discussed by way of the question answer also. But what to do at the level of the adjudicating authority? What to do when we are going for appearance of the show cause notices? What to do with the first appellate authorities? How these precedents become applicable at the ground level where the adjudication process is being followed is very important. And I think that we need to understand that apart from taking the precedents, we need to work on the facts of the case also, and that I think we can discuss. So with this, some addition to the what Tarun Gulati sir has told about the law of the precedents, stare decisis, ratio residency, obiter dicta, and per imperium. I tried to add few more points. Thank you very much.